tape, made some comments about some of the things that you said. What did you see from a positive standpoint?
Well, Yaimar's goal, that was a good goal. I mean, it was a really good goal for a couple of different reasons. Number one, I knew he was in tune with the game because he was actually telling De La Vega to get to the spot that De La Vega was supposed to be in, which I loved. That means he's in tune to the game, but then his ability to just go after a ball that Albert puts in a good spot. Delivery was good, but in this case, I thought Yaimar really exceptional technique on that header down far corner. That was one positive. The never quitting after, we got the news, the game we were watching, Vancouver and RSL, when we knew that they had gone up and we're down a guy, they didn't quit. They created a couple good chances. So those are some positives.
And then from a negative, some of the things that you can see as rectifiable right away, what are some of those things that you saw?
Well, so we've had yellow cards, seven red cards in 6 games. Some of them straight red, some of them yellow cards. So out of a possible 18 points, we've only got 3. So that's number one. That's correctable. Part of my montage today was we went through Obed's 2 yellows. And then we went through, Alex up on the touchline had Rodriguez was standing literally 3 yards away, and Alex was waiting for the referee instead of just kicking the ball against him. Maybe he gets a yellow. And then the referee, Obed certainly made a hand gesture. I can't say that he didn't, but Rodriguez when he fouled Yaimar and Mosquera when he fouled someone else, it was the same gestures. So what we did is we tried to remove the refereeing. We showed him the three advantage calls. And we talked about, look, the referee impacts games, but that's not the reason why we lose games. And we have to be strong enough in certain moments to overcome. And, it's hard. I get it, it's hard, but here are the rules for the playoffs. These are the yellow card things, and we went through all of that so that they're prepared going forward for this playoff series and then hopefully beyond, that they know the rules.
You guys don't have a ton of fouls. In fact, you guys are probably one of the teams that foul the least.
Always in the top of the disciplinary points.
Right. You don't have a ton of yellows even, but you have an inordinate percentage of cards that are red. What do you make of that?
I don't know. I think it's an anomaly. Look, the one red card that Steph got rescinded. Some of the double yellows like Obeds and some of the other ones. Yeah, the young kids need to be smarter. Reed and Sporting KC, I can own a little bit of that, keeping them on the field. Nuhu's challenge when he's trying to block a ball, but that doesn't give away the first yellow that he got that was not very smart. So it's a combination of things, but I think it's an anomaly.
Looking at the game over, it seemed like additionally to the moments he created offensively, Pedro de la Vega did, making the defense collapse on him and breaking some lines. The repress in the defense, either he didn't just
surprised?
work. It seemed like he worked well, and I wanted to get your take on that.
Yeah, he looked good. You're getting to see the De La Vega that we see at training sometimes, what we saw in film. He's getting fitter. You're absolutely correct. When he loses possession of the ball, he tries to win it back right away. I think there was good effort in the game, both in the attacking part of the field and also the defending part. The play he wishes he had back is when, Evander came on the opposite side of him, stripped the ball for the counterattack. That's where he needs to be a little bit better, but the kid had a good game. Kid had a good game.
I was looking at that play, and he seemed like Alex had Obed wide open on the right side. If he just maybe looks back, puts the ball there.
There's always 2 ways to get there. When Alex played the ball into Pedro needed to just one touch. But De La Vega didn't see Evander coming. So whether Alex plays him or Pedro plays one touch. That was just the start of the sequence because we don't want to focus just on one part of it. I mean, Nuhu's got to keep him going that way. Jackson can't dive in, and I don't know if Steph didn't see it clean because it was kind of an unorthodox, positioning of the ball. I mean, it was a bad team goal to give up.
How good of a positive was it that you were able to limit and contain Evander, who's having MVP type season for Portland all game long, or at least most of the game?
We handled Ricky Pugh. We've handled some other guys. I mean, it's been up and down this year, but recently we've had some good games defensively, and we're a good defensive team.
Going back to the officiating, I know you always say they have a hard time and they have a hard job. Over the course of this season, have you seen maybe more inconsistencies in general from the officials this year rather than years past?
I don't know because I don't think about it that much. If some outlet wants to do a research on that, they can do it, but I don't have the time for it because it's something that I don't control. I mean, the referees, try and do a good job. It's not like that guy came in here and tried to, have a bad outing. And did he have a bad outing? I don't know. So,
What are the? Oh,
Yeah, moving on to Houston. Facing just a few weeks ago, slightly different now with Hector Herrera. What impressions do you have from that game moving
big
forward?
difference because he's a quality player. But, they're a possession-based team, love keeping the ball. Scoring has been kind of their Achilles heel. But good team.
Josh was out last week. He's
Still in concussion protocol.
When did that
It happened in training.
Like on?
I'd have to
Okay.
to give you the specific date. It happened in training one day. Went up, headed the ball sideways, and yeah.
And do you know how long what the time? Like, is he?
He's in the concussion protocol. That is a set thing that I don't have any control over. He's got to clear steps. I'm hopeful that he clears by Monday.
And any other injury? Obviously, Cody's still in. Looks like still in
protocol. Yep.
Anyone else that is?
Everybody else is good.
one of the phrases that always sticks with me since you started coaching is controlling the controllables. You kind of just mentioned that. When it comes to the game, now that you look back, knowing that you're a goal away from picking up that Cascada Trophy at home for the first time ever, do you feel like you could have been more aggressive on the substitution pattern?
We were going to be. If you look at the timeline, I mean, look, we're ahead 1-0. We're watching the other game. They score. Big gets his second yellow. Kind of hands are tied a little bit because what we were looking at was the RSL score. They scored, I think, 58. And then, like, right as we were subbing Reed on, they score the tying goal. And it's like, okay, they're still tied. We're a draw, you know, and we're going through some things. And then they get the own goal in the 80, I think they scored in like the 83rd. And then I brought Georgie. And then the interesting one is, I know you brought up Raul. It was an interesting one. Maybe I could have brought him on with Georgie. You know, I think that's fair. But the specter of losing to Portland at home was kind of there in the back of my mind as well, you know. So interesting thing, you know, decision day. I think it's great, you know, adds drama. So.
Ryan, one question about the concussion protocol in MLS nowadays. Obviously, that's changed and it's morphed into something more of a protection piece for players. How important is it for you, who's been in the game for a long time, who's seen this franchise grow? How important is it for you guys to take pride in the fact that you guys have changed that for the betterment of the athletes?
Well, I think league-wide, in our league, across all sports, it's a big deal. Everybody sees the, you know, horrific stories of athletes and Kenny Easley, guys like that. I mean, it's tough. Now, our sport isn't quite as, you know, contact-oriented as pro football, but the process is the same. We want to keep our athletes safe.
Going back to the Raul, and I actually wanted to bring out Masowski and your thoughts on the fact that I was looking at the minutes, and since August, Masowski's had like 18 minutes, and Raul has only played about 30 plus once in that same timeline. How concerned are you that neither one of those players is in game rhythm, game form for where you need them here moving forward?
It's always the case. You know, they get little minutes like in the scrimmage that we had, but you're absolutely correct. But they do the work in training. They look good in training. Then that gives all the coaches and everybody confidence to put them in.
Thank you, guys.